Now, as we know, this president was urged not to go to Kenosha today. Why? We know why. The place is fragile. And obviously, anybody wanting it to be better would know what to do, right? We all do. You go to a place with a problem like that, you acknowledge the problem. You keep people confidence. How? You say, look, I hear you. I understand your pain. I understand that you're hurt. I will make things better. I have the power and I have the will, and you have my promise. We need to be better than somewhat of what is happening in these streets. You can't have violence. You can't go backwards and think that that's going to get you progress. We come together, we'll get to a better place together. Common sense, right? You do it in your life, I do it in mine all the time. Trump did none of that. He actually went to a place that is broken by division and increased the divide, and I submit to you, he did it on purpose. He blamed the people fighting for justice and said the problem is what they're doing, not what has been done to them in communities all over our country by police, by lenders, by employers, by courts. Instead, Trump said this systemic inequality of which you speak, it does not exist.
I don't believe that. I think the police do an incredible job, and I think you do have some bad apples. They call it choking, and it happens.
Do you believe systemic racism is a problem in this country?
Well, you just keep getting back to the opposite subject. We should talk about the kind of violence that we've seen in Portland and here and other places. It's tremendous violence. You always get to the other side. Well, what do you think about this or that?
Why, Mr. Acuity Tasked Passing Genius? Why would you decide to talk about just the symptom of a problem if you want to fix a problem? We all get the obvious. Nobody is saying we should condone or be complicit in looting and rioting. That's crime. It's not protest. It's not progress. It's regression, and we all know it. It's beyond question. But what is all of that? It's an ugly, unacceptable outgrowth, but nonetheless a symptom. But Trump went to a tinderbox and started throwing in matches to these people. Oh, the real problem that you say, what happens to you, doesn't exist. You're outraged. That's the problem. All this unrest on his watch. Think about it. We saw no chain protests like this under Obama or any other president in our lifetime. And he goes to the hot spot and makes it worse. Think about that. The only violent act that he didn't condemn is the one by his own supporter, who police say took to the streets last weekend with a gun the law didn't allow him to carry, and is now charged with shooting and killing 2 protesters. That violence, Trump defended yesterday. So why did he come, if not to make things better? Looking at what he said and how he said it, you have to think he may have gone there to make them worse. Well, why would he do that? Because don't you think at this point he believes that this violence scares you enough that you may think you need him to fix the violence that he has had happen on his watch? He came into office promising to end it. Now it's gotten worse, and he says, I'm the only one who can fix it. But if he does get it right, and the fear wins him Wisconsin, that could be his path to victory. Remember, though, he laid out a vision of American carnage in his inaugural address. Remember that more than 3 years ago? I alone can fix it. All of this badness is happening on his watch, and in part because of his failure to address why it's happening. His answer is, I'll tell you why it's happening. Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, they're not in power. The president doesn't want to make things better.
Radical right extremists.
Dylan Roof's disturbing confession to killing 9 people inside a South Carolina church.
He calls himself a white nationalist.
You know what I am? I'm a nationalist, okay?
Will not replace us! Very fine people on both sides.
Domestic terrorists.
A 56-year-old Florida resident charged with sending a series of explosive devices to critics of President Trump.
Conspiracy chaos agents. QAnon.
QAnon followers believe world governments are being controlled by a shadowy cabal of pedophiles.
Trump let them in. Trump praises them
The QAnon movement.
I've heard these are people that love our country.
and watches as the safety, security, and health of our communities are destroyed.
Kyle Rittenhouse, accused of using an AR-15 to shoot and kill 2 people.
Rittenhouse attended a Trump rally in Iowa.
They used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, they would not do it again so
A
easily.
vote for Trump is a vote for radical right terrorism.